good afternoon. I'm here to talk to you today about language acquisition and novice level learners and how to get them to the highest possible level of discourse in a year's time. I teach 7th grade Spanish in North Caldwell, New Jersey, and this is my 22nd year teaching, believe it or not. And this year has been truly the most transformational year I think I've ever had. And if I had known something about the value of teaching 100% in the target language and interpersonal interactions the way I know today, I understand today, I don't think I ever would have done anything differently. I think I would have started doing this many, many moons ago. So I want to share some of the process of how I've managed to get my learners where they are today. I want to start with a scenario. I want you to imagine two friends chatting in a cafe and you're eavesdropping on their conversation, and you notice it's almost like a perfectly choreographed dance, right? They know when to interject. They know what kind of what the extra linguistic cues mean. They know based on their voice intonation and other nuances of the language how to react to certain exchanges. And it's truly a beautiful thing when you sit back and look at it and you realize that language acquisition is probably one of the most nuanced and abstract things that could ever exist, yet billions of people around the world have been doing it since the dawn of time. And then you walk into your novice level language classroom on a Monday morning and you ask yourself, how could I ever get my kids to a somewhat decent level of discourse? And you're thinking that this goal seems so elusive, right? That how will I ever be able to get them there? And so I'm here to share today some of the things that I've been noticing doing this, and what I would recommend based on the kind of results I'm starting to see with my kids. So I think one of the biggest roadblocks that we face is being in an educational paradigm. We are kind of trained to play school, so I want you to spend a little time looking at what you do in the classroom and how that impacts the quality of time that you spend with your kids. Let's look at, for example, the anticipatory set or the do now. What does it consist of? In most language classrooms across the world, it's go off into a corner and interact with a question either via pencil and paper or a screen, or pair up with a partner while the teacher does some sort of housekeeping, checking homework or checking attendance. And my question for you is, why does it have to be that way? Why not just take everything we've ever believed to be right about starting class time and question it? Because, we know that language it's not acquired the same way other subject matter is. Have you ever considered just having from the get-go your kids come and congregate in a U shape and just sit in chairs with no desks, no pencil, no paper, no screens, just bringing their beautiful selves to the center of the room to interact with you? And you're thinking, well, how am I going to do attendance? And my answer to you is, why not make attendance taking part of the discourse that you're sharing? Like, is so-and-so absent? Is so-and-so sick? Is so-and-so in the bathroom? Just imagine the level of richness you can get from something as simple as attendance taking, right? So I'm thinking another common mishap or another common belief among language teachers is that to develop interpersonal skills, kids have to interact daily with other kids in a setting that the teacher kind of monitors. And, if it's scripted and the kids have it in front of them and they're milling around the room interacting, the question I have for you is, first of all, how genuine is that really? And then, I know that it does provide much needed scaffolding to novice level learners, and there's a place for it, but it really has to be used sparingly. So the interactions from peer to peer, have it be like task based, where they're getting a little interaction to obtain information that they later take back to the open forum, and then we can use as a whole class and really get to know each other based off of this information. The interpersonal back and forth in the classroom it should trump everything else. You look at the amount of writing that goes on in traditional language classrooms. And what I've always thought to myself is, really, has anyone ever really questioned why is writing so important? Think about proficiency building and how much of our day is really spent writing, in another language. Very little. That should not be our priority. It's really should be interacting. I think reading is has a really, really important place too. But the interpersonal back and forth or listening skills development it should really, really be paramount. And so the question that I think a lot of teachers might have or fear is how to keep the stamina up to interact for so long and so many class periods in a row without feeling completely exhausted by the end of the day. And I'm finding that the more I slow down to interact with them on a personal level and get to know them as human beings and make sure that language is comprehensible, the more I'm really enjoying them, the more they're enjoying their time with me. I'm learning to really listen, and that also gives me a break. That's my break, and I'm giving them an opportunity to grapple with language. Of course, we do other types of interactions aside from open forum discussion, but I really, really, truly not only believe, but I know that this should be the bulk of our interactions is open forum discussion. I walk around, in schools, and I'll see that this is the norm, that they'll just spend far more time in front of a screen or with pencil and paper or interacting with peers and not the teacher. And I know that has got to change, and it really has to start with us. So if there's anything I can recommend, you may want to reconsider the way that you're doing things if you're not doing open forum interpersonal discussion with your kids. You really want to start doing that more and more and make that the bulk of what you do. And you're really going to start to see natural, true, honest discourse develop in your kids. It's truly unbelievable. I hope you enjoyed this, and maybe you can take something with you to use in your classroom. Thank you, and have a great day.